Spirit Sports Consultants presents
Our NFL Power Rankings for 2024 is going to be way before preseason. And for this video, we keep the full list on our website. We'll show you a screen capture of that at the end of the video. But for this one, we want to focus on the top 16. These are teams that we identify as definite playoff candidates from the end of last year and based on what they did in the draft, free agency, and just our predictions for, upward or downward movement. So we're going to start off at number 16. That brings us to the Jacksonville Jaguars. And we see this team potentially winning the division as high as we have the Texans ranked. The teams are not that far apart. Look at the two games they played last year. The Texans won at Jacksonville. Jaguars won at Houston. Look at the Jaguars game. We attended the game week 2 against Kansas City. They held Mahomes to 17 points, but then they only scored 9. So not sure about them, so we start them at 16. And a new feature for this season, we want to encourage all of you to vote on all of our picks, on our power rankings, our top divisions video we did. We want to hear other opinions. We're open to other perspectives and other opinions to see what we've got. So hit us up in the comments. Let us know for your top 10 only. Our number 15 team gave Detroit all they could take in that great wild card game. And we're not going to say we had the Rams ranked this high, but we knew last season they would be better than they were in 2022. That was definitely an anomaly. And we think this team could win the division. It comes down to can Stafford stay healthy and can they play the 49ers well? If so, look out for the division. Otherwise, we see them as a wild card. We see the Browns contending for a wild card also. Tough division with the Ravens and Bengals in front of them. We caught a little bit of grief from viewers saying we're sleeping on the Browns. Well, that's really not the case. We love the defense. We're just not sure. With quarterback uncertainty, we don't really like that. Deshaun has not been consistent since he's been with Cleveland. What has been even less consistent? The defense. Take a look at this. Home points allowed 14, 13.9 on the road, 31. You're not going to win games allowing 31 points when you're on the road. At 13, we have the Dallas Cowboys, who were similarly inconsistent last season at home and on the road. At home, dominating 8-0. In fact, that's why we were so strong on them in the Green Bay playoff game, and then it went off the rails. But on the road, they were very average, and they were very beatable, so that if they could be more consistent on the road, we like their pass offense. We're still high on Dak. He had a bad playoff game. We love the pass defense with Deron Brand and then Trayvon Diggs coming back from injury. We think that's two shutdown corners that could put them in a really good position for the playoffs. And at 12, we have the defending NFC South champ, Tampa Bay Bucks, and most people's favorite to win the division again this season. We look at the division a little differently. We think the Falcons, Saints, and Bucks are all right there. We're going to look at injuries and improvement, and maybe like we see Derek Carr improving from last season, what can Kirk Cousins do for that team? We'll leave the Bucks here for now. We think that might drop as the season goes on. And at 11, we have the New York Jets, and a pick I'm sure many will disagree with. But we look at this defense, top 3 against the run, top 10 against the pass. Sauce Gardner, shut down cornerback, so important in the NFL. Offense, it's not all about Aaron Rodgers, but what he can give you is be a game manager, a little better than a game manager, not turn the ball over. Those receivers, adding Mike Williams to go along with Garrett Wilson, and then running back Breece Hall, improved offensive line. This team has some upside. At 10, we have the Miami Dolphins, clearly the fastest team in the NFL. Doesn't mean they're the best. Inconsistent again. We talked about Cleveland and Dallas just a little bit earlier. They're similarly with their defense. They do really well at home, and that Miami heat humidity, trust us, we live down here, it's stifling. But on the road, they give up almost double. 29 points on the road, 17 at home. You got to correct that. And then losing Christian Wilkins, how's that going to affect the defense? It's definitely not going to help. If all goes as expected, this guy is going to be starting every game this season. We should put the Bengals right there in contention. But then we are concerned with his injury history. Last year he had the calf and the hand injury. Is he injury prone? We're not sure. But even beyond that, even if Joe Cool plays every single game, the defense has a lot of issues. We think that keeps him down the 9 position. And with Burrow's injury risk, we could see that slipping just a little bit, especially in that tough AFC North with the Ravens, Browns, and Steelers. At number 8, we have the Green Bay Packers, and we view them as viable Super Bowl contenders. However, they are also inconsistent. We look at the teams they beat. They beat the Chiefs. They beat the Lions on Thanksgiving at Detroit. Huge advance for the Lions there. They beat the Cowboys in the playoffs and really should have beaten the 49ers. However, they lost to the Broncos, lost to the Giants, and barely beat the Panthers by 3 at Carolina. So they've got to be more consistent to be a true Super Bowl threat. At 7, we have the Eagles, who were never as good as their 10-1 start, but they really deserve better than that weak finish at the end. We think the defense needed some improvement, specifically the pass defense. We think they've addressed that, adding 2 first-round talent cornerbacks to shore up the pass defense. And then we think adding Saquon Barkley is going to allow them to dominate both in the running game and the passing game. So when they build up those leads, they should be able to protect them and finish games. We like them here to win the NFC East. And at 6, we have the AFC East Buffalo Bills. We definitely think this is a candidate to drop. As good as Josh Allen is, his turnovers are too high. They're going to miss Stephon Diggs probably more than they realize. And then on defense, are they as good as in the years past? We're not so sure. But we're going to put them at 6 as they are the AFC East defending champs. And at 5, we have the Houston Texans. We really think they've improved quite a bit in the offseason, adding key players like Stephon Diggs, Joe Mixon on the offensive side. Defensively, Danielle Hunter, Denico Autry. We think they're going to be as explosive as last season. One risk would be the offensive line, but we see them improving and threatening for the AFC title. Probably not quite there yet. You still got the Chiefs and Ravens looming ahead of them, but we like the path the Texans are on. I'd like to hear from Ravens fans. Tell me, how painful was that turnover to you? To us watching it, I don't recall a bigger turnover in an AFC or NFC championship game ever. But the Ravens were that close to defeating the Chiefs. In fact, that losing the turnover margin 3-0 really killed them. I think we said in other videos there's a 91% chance you're going to lose a game if you lose a turnover margin by 3 or more. And they did. That was going in for the tying touchdown. So we think the Ravens will be back. We love the addition of Derrick Henry. We think that'll give them the offensive balance that they need and be able to maybe preserve leads at the end, pass to get ahead and use Derrick to run out the clock. We think that defense is equally stout. We put them at 4 here, but we could definitely see them contending and challenging the Chiefs for the title again this season. It's no more SOL for our number 3 ranked Detroit Lions. We really were impressed by what they did both last year and at the end of the 2022 season, where they really started to come on. And we think the next step is to get that home field advantage and be able to play at Ford Field for the NFC Championship game. They obviously could have won it this past season. We feel like if they get that, if they can play indoors on turf in front of that really dedicated, loud, intense Lions crowd, they'll take the next step and get to the Super Bowl. And rounding on our list are the 2 Super Bowl participants. At 1, we put the Chiefs. At number 2, we put the 49ers. Why do we have them sharing a screen? We actually think this could be a 1A and 1B situation. Truthfully, we think the 49ers have more talent overall, looking at the entire roster. But then on the Chiefs side, which gives them the edge, obviously they're the champs, but also you have Mahomes and then Reed. We think the coach-quarterback combination, no offense to Shanahan and Purdy, but Mahomes and Reed are just at another level. We think this is likely going to be a Super Bowl rematch. We don't want that. We like to have a varied change, different teams in there from year after year. But these are clearly the top 2 teams in the NFL to start the season. And we will maintain this power rankings list as the season goes on. For now, we have our preseason on our website. You see it starts at 17 with the Saints, going down to the teams we think are fringe playoff contenders. A lot of these teams have rookie quarterbacks. That's why they're so low. Of course, number 32, the Panthers. Sorry, Bryce Young. That's where you guys deserve to be. So check that throughout the season.
That's all for this time. Thank you for joining. Please subscribe to our channel, and we look forward to sharing our future videos with you.